All right. What do you think about the election of President Obama?
I was pretty happy that Obama was elected. I thought he seemed like a decent guy. He was an excellent speaker and got my attention off the bat, which is always a plus because you can't be president if you don't know how to talk to people. And I agreed with him on several things that were important to me. I obviously didn't agree with him on everything, but I looked at what was most important to me, and he seemed to be on my side most of the time. Plus, I guess you could say he's a fresh face. He seems a lot different than a lot of politicians. There's some people that have been in DC for decades, and they just go there and it doesn't even seem like it matters to them. And he's a lot younger than most presidents, very energetic, very promising. So far I'm happy that Obama was elected.
Do you think the election of President Obama has a direct impact on your life?
Of course it does. I mean, he's the president of the country I live in, and while it may have had a greater impact if I lived in somewhere where he had more power, in this country with, him having to go through other parts of government, it will have a slower impact on my life, but obviously direct one. What he supports and puts out into Congress, the legislation will affect how I have to live my life, and it will obviously affect my decisions, any new laws that are passed. And his, our relationships with other countries, how he presents us to the world will affect my life, both directly and indirectly. Other countries already have a more favorable opinion of us because we elected President Obama. They see him as being extremely positive, and by improving our relationships with other countries, that can gradually affect my life in big and small ways.
What impact do you think the election of President Obama will have on urban areas in the United States, particularly on housing?
Well, I know that any effect that him being president won't be immediate, and it won't be something big at first. It would be something slow and gradual. When you make big changes like that on such a large scale, they usually don't go quite so well. But if Obama lives up to the image that is being created for him, I think changes would be positive. Hopefully cleaning up the streets, getting a lot of the drugs and the negative influences off the street so that everybody can have a much more enjoyable existence. I live in a place where I don't feel comfortable being outside because there is a lot of negative and criminal activity, and hopefully that will slowly change for the better.
Do you think that any politician has ever lived up to the image created of them?
I don't think any politician has ever lived up picture for picture, exactly to the image that's created for him. But I mean, if he's anywhere near the element of change that he was displayed as, I think it'd be a good thing. We're been around for a while, and a lot of things. We're a country built on change, built on new things. We were the first colony to ever break away from the country they were colonized from. And I think it's been a long time since, not in my lifetime, that there's been anything really monumental. And hopefully if he lives up to his name of change, he would be the catalyst for doing something new and better. I don't expect him to fix the country. I don't expect him to make everything better. But I hope that he will get things started, that he will help put this country in a better direction and get us back to the place in the world that we used to be and that we feel that we should be.
If you could say something to President Obama, what would you say or ask?
I would want to know how the extreme feelings that people have about him, how does he feel about that? I mean, there are some people who love him and everything that he does is good. And there are some people who hate him and everything that he does is wrong. I mean, some days I look at the news and I feel like the next time Obama sneezes, it's going to be wrong. He doesn't blow his nose correctly. I mean, every week on the news, it's been something new. And then there are people who turn around and say Obama can do no wrong. He hasn't been in office that long. It hasn't even been a year. Change takes a long time. People need to understand that he's human. He's not perfect. He will make mistakes. But that the change that he is trying to make will be slow. It will be gradual. And that he has to work around our laws, our systems, our governments, and what the people want. And if people keep getting in his way and keep trying to stop him from doing anything, he's not going to be able to make all that change. I think that I would just want to know, how does that affect him? It would really bother me if I'm out there trying to make life better for people who will hate me no matter what. I would find that extremely difficult, and I would find it difficult to work where people are idolizing me for sometimes the wrong reasons. And how does somebody deal with that?
Thank you.
You're welcome.